I'm just finishing a couple little, because there's a lesson plan to it. So not only will the book provide my story, it also, like, if you're at a job and you're like not happy, because I was obviously not happy because I would have never left. You don't leave things, like realtors, you don't leave when you're happy.
Right.
I wasn't happy being there anymore. So there's so many people in life that are sitting in a job where they're, a police officer, school teacher, you name it. They're sitting in a job that you're just like, I'm not happy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I actually gave a plan of, okay, this is what I did. This is how I prepped, and so maybe someone don't have to struggle like I did internally when they make a decision. There'll be at least a plan that I did. Not saying it's perfect, but it's a plan that you at least have and you can reference to when you are thinking about leaving your career.
I love that. And then what's the biggest takeaway? Like, what's your goal when this book hits my hands and I'm reading it and I go, what's the thing you want me to remember from this book?
I want you to never feel that you can't leave a job. I think, there's so many people feel trapped like I did. It's a pension job. So that pension is like, oh my God, like I'm going to make $70,000 for the rest of my life. I got to stay here 3 years and just be unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't, if you set yourself up right, there's ways to do it. Long as you have your family in mind. If you have family, if you don't, then that's different. But for me, I had 4 kids, and I can't just pick up and leave and not think about them. And you gotta be honest to yourself. Can you do this? And if not, when can I do this? So I think if someone is unhappy or thinking that they can never leave their job, and I think it's deeper than that. I think it's, you could even me being a trooper. I remember so many spouses, women, men that were unhappy in their marriages and felt like they couldn't get out. I think it's a plan just in general, like to budget in life to say, okay, I want to leave in 6 months. What do I do? And then how much money do I need to save? So I kind of give thoughts of what I did to get out of that situation and to make sure I can live monthly and have a plan like any
Sure.
business.
Sure.
It's like a startup
Cash flow
business.
is cash flow, right?
So I think it'll give them a sense of, if like the 4-minute mile.
Mm-hmm.
Once someone did it, because I don't think, from what I heard, since 1921, no one ever left the state police that didn't get fired or God forbid, passed away or something happened. You don't leave that shy of a pension for life.
Right.
So I think just the inspiration, like, what job are you in that you couldn't leave if this guy did it?
I think it's good, man. I think what you're saying is you can always take an action to move your life in a different direction.
Oh yeah.
And you have an extreme example of it. Like, to me, I'm still like sitting here trying to think this through in the back of my head while we talk. Okay, 3 years left, and I don't care how much money I'm making. It would still tear at me. It would still make me think. I don't care if I made $1 million that would have covered that over my entire life. So this is still 60 grand I would have made my rest of my life. But you said I'm not happy. Yeah. And you said I'm not willing to spend the next 3 years of my life unhappy under that capacity. And I have a very valid plan moving forward financially for my family. Everything made sense. So
yeah, and I had a car. The most incredible benefits. I mean, the state benefits are great, and just you're a trooper. Like you're like like we were taught, like you're it's like it's important. So
uniform,
you felt
yeah,
important. Of a person. Like like I worked hard to get that job. I mean, that job, you talk about a process. It's very similar to our process to get into state police. It's very tough.
Sure.
So I worked hard to get that, and it's like. You're like, I'm going to do this. And so, yeah, I mean, if maybe I could do it, maybe someone's sitting in a corporate America job that they're just frustrated. Or I know 9/11, so many people left, the financial industry that was working downtown because of that. It takes such a big thing, like for me that kind of big thing. I don't want it to be so traumatic in someone's life. If you prep, yeah, you can leave. So that's kind of, that.
I think it's great because I think what you're doing is you're saying, I'm going to give you a plan to be happy. In short, I'm going to give you a plan to be happy.
That's a good
and I think
line there.
And I think you did it. I think you did it for yourself, and you're basically just saying, I'd love to give this gift to other people. And here's just what it is on paper that worked for me. And I've had buddies along the way that have helped like build businesses and stuff. And they were teachers. One guy he went teacher, border patrol, and same thing. And I'm like, the talent and what he has inside his brain right now that he doesn't realize needs to be unlocked. And I think what you're doing is you're giving people the opportunity that may or may not know that they have that ability to then unlock it. And then that made me feel good. I was like, I helped him get into this position that I feel like his natural calling was to be running a business anyway. He just didn't feel it along the way. So I think your book will offer that to people that can really, when they have the talent, they have the ability, they just don't know it. And when they read it, that could be the key that unlocks it. And it felt really good for me. So I imagine that's the thought you're going for with people is like, hopefully I can help you. Hopefully I can help you find happiness.
You said it perfectly. I mean, my state police class had a couple attorneys, a couple engineers, some incredible people. And listen, some people, they were born to be troopers and are police officers, and they should do it. You know, like if you got that earning desire, please, we need good people out there.
Agreed.
But a lot of them really, you know, just didn't know what else to do. You're a young kid or whatever, and you said, that's a great job, and let me go for it. And then as years go on, they're like not as passionate, but they feel they have to stay. And I was probably one of them. Mm-hmm. So what you said, there's so many dynamic people in this world, and they get stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
And so hopefully no longer when they read this book.
I love it, man. So this has been a really good interview. I really